Good day to all of you. I'm talking to the intelligent citizens of this country. I've just returned from the Election Commission, where the Election Commissioner summoned the representatives of all registered political parties in the country and explained the current situation with regard to the upcoming local government election. There are 58 parties out of 86 contesting at this local government election, and there are so many independent parties also contesting. So it's an important election where more than 80,000 candidates have submitted nominations to contest at this election. Now we know the government has been trying its level best to get this election cancelled or postponed. Various tricks have been tried and all those tricks have failed so far. Eventually the Supreme Court told that the election should go ahead and the Election Commission must continue what they are doing, and the Election Commission has given an assurance to the Supreme Court that the election will be held. Now, this is a constitutional requirement. Now, today the Election Commission told us about the latest trick played by the government to disrupt this election process. Now, you know, for the election, 9th of March is the election date. Before that, the postal voting has to take place. The postal voting is to be held on the 21st, 22nd and 23rd of this month. And for that, the ballot papers must reach the respective locations where people will be, government servants will be voting at least by 19, which means the ballot papers must be printed now. At least the process must start tomorrow. Now, until yesterday, all indications were that the government printer was ready because the papers had come, all the preparations were done, and the printing was to start today. But yesterday, due to some influence, the government printer has written to the Election Commission saying that she cannot print these ballot papers unless 400 million is paid by the Election Commission. So essentially, she is asking for upfront payment. Never in the history of this country, the government printer has asked for upfront money from the Election Commission, because at the end of the day, the government printer is a government institute. The Election Commission is also getting money from the government. So it's always what happens is you print and you get it reimbursed later. Now this time, for the first time in history, why are they changing this pattern? That is simply because they want to disrupt the election. Now the question that we are asking from the citizens of this country, are we going to allow this? Are we going to allow the government to play this game continuously, trying to disrupt elections and postpone? Because elections is your right. That's the only opportunity you get to give a message to the government, to change the government, change local authorities, all those things. And government is now trying to take that right away from you by disrupting the election process. The excuse that they are bringing you is that there is no money in the government. How can there be no money? Because at the beginning of the year, then a budget has been passed by the parliament. In that budget, the money has been allocated for the Election Commission. So money has already been allocated to be used. And when if the government is not releasing the money that has been allocated, that is not acceptable. Secondly, how much money are we talking here? We are talking about rupees 10 billion. And some stupid government representatives come and tell the people that, you know, because it's 10 billion rupees, the economy is going to come to standstill. They may not understand simple mathematics, numbers, but I'm sure people like you, intelligent people, should understand these numbers. How much is 10 billion against the total government expenditure? This year's estimated government expenditure is rupees 5,890 billion. So 10 billion out of that is only 0.17%. So 0.17% is going to break the economy. So can you see the stupidity of this logic? They think you're stupid. So let us not fall into that trap. And also, if you understand this in a different way, the cost per day of running this government is 16 billion. So the amount required to hold this election is only 10 billion. So less than the money that is spent by the government per day. So is this such a big amount that the government cannot control? How many more things government can control? Government can get rid of corruption, reduce wastage. So many things government can be done to save much more money than this. So let us not fall into this trap. Let us not allow the government to do this. If you allow the government to postpone this election or get this election annulled or cancelled, using finance as an excuse, that can happen in the future as well. There will be no general election. There will be no presidential election. They can always come and say, economy is in turmoil, so we can't have election. The very reason you must have elections is to get rid of these governments. The governments which can't run the economy. If you have to live within such a government, you have to get rid of that government. You have to elect a new government. Only way you can do that is to hold elections. So if the existing government, which is ruining the economy, says that I cannot hold elections because I have no money, that's the end of democracy. So let us not fall into this trap. Let us not allow this. Let us stand against this injustice. Thank you.